Well, we ended section 8.4, part A, with a description of everything we needed for the apps key, how to get it, how to find it, and proceeding on how to represent it. So what I've done is for you to be able to utilize what we learned above. I'm going to say it again, and the fact that we're going to use an alpha inner on either the present value or the future value. Okay, so these are the listings that we're going to have on our program on TI-84. And I percent PV, PMT, FV, PY, and CY. So on capital N, we're going to use N, the periods per year of interest that is calculated, times T, the number of years for that value. The I% is the rate, the R value, without converting to a decimal. The PV is the one-time deposit, and I can't stress that enough, that you're reading to know what you're entering. Garbage in, garbage out. The one-time deposit made to the account, the P, principal value. Payment will be 0 for the entire section of 8.4 because it stands for payments, and we don't do payments until we get to 8.5 and 8.6. So that doesn't help us any at the moment. We just need to make sure it has a 0. The total amount of savings after T years within periods at the rate listed will be 0 if we're finding future value. And it is the A amount. It is the future value. The PY and the CY must match, and they represent the periods per year. All right, so here we go. And always, all commands must, all computations have to be done at the end of the year. So we're going to start easy with some examples, and you'll see something similar in your homework. So here we go. The principal represents the amount of the money deposited in a savings account subject to, there it is, compound interest at the given rate. So right here we have the principal. Okay, so that's our PV, is 12,000. The rate, so that's our I% is 5%. Semi-annually means N is 2, semi means 2, and 2 years is my time. So let's insert what we know. So our cap N is little n times T. So that means I'm going to put in my calculator 2 times 2. Our I% is 5. Because it's 5%, we don't add the percent sign, we just put 5. Our present value is 12,000. Our payment is 0. Our future 0 is what we want. Our PY and CY are 2, because these are the end periods. All right, so, and they must match. All right. So then what we'll do is come back to future value because we want the amount of the future value. So this will be where we click on alpha, and then we do the enter. To get a solution. All right, now I'll explain this as we go forward. All right, here we go. So everybody have that on their notes to make sure you follow along. Nothing difficult, but it is something you're not familiar with at the moment. So we go to our apps key, 1, 2, 3 rows down, second key. We see a menu, and like I wrote above, you hit the finance. Then you see calculate, and we want the Tbm Solver. And we see the present the present menu. All right. Now remember, you can pause this anytime you like. Should I be going too fast? So we're going to enter the 2 times the 2. Of course, we know it's 4, but we want to see what this calculator can do. The percent is 5. The PV is 12,000. 0 for payment, 0 for future value, and our N is 2. All right. So now, we move the cursor to future value because we want to know how much is in there after those 2 years, paying interest twice a year. We hit the alpha N. All right. So we see this value, and we see it as negative. Pause the program, calculates 754, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Disregard this. It's in the future, and unknown. If something else happens, that you might want to take out that money for whatever reasons. So we're going to do 2 decimal places because money is in 2 decimal places. So $13,245.75 is the balance in the account after 2 years. All right. So we have $13,245.75. Well, now they want us to find interest earned. Interest earned. So interest earned is our future value minus our present value. So that's going to be our 13,245.75 minus the 12,000, the present value. So it's going to be 1,245.75 with the dollar sign. So our interest earned is that amount. All right. So we covered some little rounding. Here we didn't have to round up because the value next to the value was less than. So we're doing a little bit. Here we go. All right. So we had 2 solutions for each of our problems. So here we have the next one. And we want to find compound interest. The principal is $3,500. So this is our present value, our one-time deposit. Our rate is 3.5%, so that's our I%. Our compound monthly means that we have N equals to 12. And time is 4 years, so this is our T. All right, so remember our N is, cap N is little n times T. So what we're going to enter is going to be 12 times 4. All right. Our I% is 3.5. Our present value is 3,500. 0 for payment, 0 for future value. And these are my ends. Right. So here we go. I'm going to move my cursor because I'm on the program. I'm going to move it up. When I move it up, I'm in my capping. You can't erase per se. You can but you just type over and it'll work. You can do some of you might like everything pristine. You can put a zero in everything, and that'll give it that look of being set up. But I just type over it. And I have everything. I have 48 periods of interest calculated, 3.5 interest rate, 3,500, zero payment, zero future value, 12 and 12. So I'm going to move to future value, and I'm going to do an alpha solve, flashing cursor. All right, so that's what I'm doing. I have the flashing cursor on future value, alpha in, and I'm going to have this number right here. Again, we have the negative. Okay, we're going to round to two decimal places. We're going to just look over the negative, and we know that our future value is $4,025.14. Round up on that one because 8 is larger than or equal to 5. Okay, here we go. So that is our future value. So now they want the interest earned. And we know interest earned is equal to future value minus present value. Now, we're going to get to this right now. To get out of the nap, uh, press the second mode for quit, and it'll bring you to the home screen. Second mode, and I'm in the home screen. There I am. Or O, decimal 14 minus the 3,500. Make sure I didn't add 2 zeros or something, like I did in the other program. So interest earned was the amount of $5,025. $525, and okay, there we go. As you can see, um, it is one of those cases where you're not going to have any issues on doing this homework. Now we have something that can only be done on the home screen, and that is continuous compounding. Continuous compounding is A equals PERT. All right. So let's, so what is E? We're going to say that E is an irrational number that never ends and never repeats. I'm sorry, never repeats. Like pi. No, pi is not 3.14, but an irrational number. This is used in finance. I'm sorry. And you'll see it in how they approximate things uh, and do the complicated forms and stuff. Okay. Okay. So where is the key? This key is using the second uh, ln, e to the x. It is right here. See e to the x? So let's look at it. We don't use it a whole lot in this course because it's not the financial world, but for the homework, you need to know where it is. So we're going to do e to the 1, what it looks like. So I'm going to hit second key and ln the inner. All right. Second ln. E, I'm going to enter the 1, enter. Now the calculator will only show n digits at the max. So it keeps on going. And, oh, that's a 2 point right there. So you can see, like pi, uh, it is one of those weird numbers, and you're going to be using it for this formula. All right, so let's get back to this assignment. All right, here we go. Okay, for this example, we want to find the accumulated value, that is FV, future value, of an investment of $20,000, that's our present value, for 6 years at the interest rate of, this is our I%, 4 and 65 hundredths. If the money is compounded semi-annually, compounded quarterly, compounded monthly, and of course, compounded continuous. All right. So let's look at that. Compounded semi-annual is N is 2. Compounded quarterly, N is 4. Compounded monthly, N is 12. So we can do these on an apps key. Right, so we're going to do these. Structure, and my capital N is 2, and the years is 6. My I% is 4.65. My present value is 20,000. My payment is 0. My future value is 0. And my P, Y, and CY are 2. All right. I'm going to my apps key, third row, second key. I want finance, and I want my Tbm Solver. So I'm going to do a 2 times a 6, 4.65, 20,000, and 2. Okay, so I want to go here. Okay, I'm going to do up arrow to future value and do an alpha enter. And I have the amount, and I do 2 decimal places, 26,351 and 85 cents. Okay. So now I'm going to do compounded quarterly. 4 times 6, the I% is still 4 and 65 hundredths. The present value is still 20,000. My PNT, my FV are zeros, and PY and CY are 4. I'm going to do an alpha enter right there on future value. Here we go. Move my arrow back up to the top, and I'll enter 4 times 6. That's the same. 20,000 is a 0, 0. And my PY and CY are quarterly, so it's 4. I'm going to go back to future value and do an alpha enter. And that one is 26,393, 64. What we can see, a slight interest increase. So we're at our last one. So let's get that structured. All right. So we have our 12 times 6. 4 and 6,500 is still the 20,000. 0, 0, and this PY and CY are 12. And you have to be very careful about that. So it won't come out with a correct answer unless you structure it correctly. So we're going to do an alpha inner here. Solve. Okay, let's do it. So, I have to do 0. Sorry, I haven't finished entering, have I? 12 and 12. All right. I match everywhere. Oh, times 6. 4, 6. Okay. Now I match. All right. Now I'm going to do an alpha inner, and I'm going to have a dollar amount of 26 for 21, and it looks like 90 cents. All right. In each case, we've been increasing. Well, now we're going to do one doing compound continuously. And we have to use the formula of A equals E raised to the RT. Now here, R has to be small form. All right. And depending on what calculator you purchase, these two has to be in parentheses. Mine has the raised concept, so it's not as, it's a little bit different. So I have A equals 20,000 0465 times 6. All right. So in our calculator, we would enter the 20, and we would do the second ln for e to the x. This e to the x, then we would have 0.0465 in parenthesis, right? So we have to do parenthesis times 6, close parenthesis, and enter. All right, here we go. Now remember how to get out of program? We do a what? Second quit to get to the home screen. 20,000. Good. Second ln. There's my EVX, and you notice I have a flashing cursor on the exponent. It's flat. I should have get an 84E. And then you're going to enter the decimal 0465 times 6. Now, mine is already in its structure. I hit enter, and my value is $6,436.15. All right. So, which is the better investment? 46421, 264, 3615. So we can see that the investment of continuous compounding is the best choice. course. All right. So I'm going to stop right there, and we will continue our journey. I've talked for another 30 minutes because there was so much calculated. And it'll all make sense in a bit if the more we do. Thank you for listening.